Hey all, Hiver here. So today we're beating up some Battleship players again because this game here has a serious problem with Battleship players who just don't know what they're doing, why they're in the game, or what their ship is even about. And you know, if that's your boomer uncle or whatever who is doing that, taking out his Bismarck into battle and just to admire the historically correct camo or whatever. Can you tell him to do that in the AI battles? Thank you. Uh, I don't know who or why or why this is a problem because battleships are fairly easy to play. They're actually the easiest ships in the game to play. Period. And it always amazes me when I see battleships like in this battle here. We have one battleship over at A that's actually doing a decent job, or actually a good job of positioning and preparing for the battle. All the other four battleships, they are just absolutely in a mess. I don't know what they're doing, and that's my problem with battleships, because they don't contribute. That's pretty much it. They don't set up the battle so it's like possible to win. They just sit in the open, in the map, on fire, broadside, and they don't know what they're doing. It's a real problem. So if you look at the map here, 2 minutes into the game, it's obvious that this game is going to be won or lost at the CCAP. There's not really any resistance over at B, and this game here hinges on the CCAP. That's obvious. It was already obvious a minute ago. So, battleships need to position accordingly and not sit in the open and not sail away from the objective, at least not until the objective is secured. That's the gist of battleship play, really. So like I said, battleships are easy. They're super easy to play. Like, no one expects battleships to take a cap. No one expects battleships to flush out destroyers or sonar destroyers or radar destroyers or anything like that. They don't have to do anything that is dangerous, at least in the beginning of the battle, at least in the half of the battle. All you have to do is sit bow on to the enemy and in a good position, pick a good position, and then defend the ships that are trying to make a difference here, that are actually trying to set the battleships up for the best battle possible. But as you can see here, sometimes it's just impossible. It's like I said before, it's like herding cats sometimes. It doesn't matter how many times you say, hey, I could use some assistance over here. And no one cares. So there's one destroyer in this game. One destroyer. One tiny little destroyer. And every battleship acts like, an elephant that's scared of mice. And they're all just running away. And one of the battleships is even naughty enough to say, oh yeah, go support the cruiser. But he's not going to do it himself. I mean, it's ridiculous. Now, lucky for me in this battle here, the red battleships are almost as bad as the blue battleships because they are all sitting in clumps. They haven't, spread out across the map. They haven't taken up like efficient positions at all. Yeah, I cannot shoot them in this position here, but I don't really have to. I have the cap, and I'm not gonna give it up unless they actually rush me. And that would be the only way these guys here would be able to win. And that's why I need my battleships over here. Or at least a few battleships. And whoop, there's the shimmer again. And hopefully this time we can get a bit more luck. So that's the end of the shimmer. And now see what happens with the battleships. Because now there's no destroyer in the game. Although it was only one single destroyer. It's not a threat to... How many battleships are there? 5 battleships? It's not a threat to every single battleship on the map. So move. So right here, the game is won. It's already done. The only way we can lose this game is if everyone potatoes completely and, just throws the game away. I mean, that happens, yeah. I don't know who shot at me there. It's probably an angry battleship player. But, yeah, I was like, what's going on? So now we get to the part that's really annoying about battleships. That is when, half the red team is gone already, and it's not gonna take a lot of effort to sink the last 5 ships. We have still a full team here, a full team. And it's not going to take a lot of effort to sink the last 5 ships. And, you know, the battleships are probably going to get a kill or 2, each of them. At least one of them is going to get a kill if they're any good, you know. And that means that after the end of this battle, they will come out of the battle thinking, oh, I got like 1 kill, I got like this and this XP, I'm number like 4 or 5 on the leaderboard, so I did well, I'll just keep doing what I did. And the point they're completely missing is that they did not do well. They got some cheap points here in the end of the battle because, you know, they get to shoot the remaining ships that are totally outnumbered. They get to cap. You can see how as soon as there was no destroyer, they are all like just like, I don't know, on a pilgrimage into this cap here to get some points. And as much as I like that, they are still in cover. Like, they are still allowing me out in the open here. They're still not tanking anything. So like I said before, this battle here was won when these battleships were still sitting out in the open water being useless. And the fact that they're moving in and they're sinking a few ships now and they're like catching up a little bit of that XP that they haven't got because, well, frankly, they did absolutely nothing. That means that, like I said, at the end of the battle, they're going to look at it and they're going to say, oh yeah, looks like I did quite alright here, so yeah, we'll just keep doing this. And that's a mistake, that's a huge mistake, because they're being carried, basically. That's what's going on here, and they're not aware of it. So just to get back to what I said, like, Battleship's super easy to play. It's not hard. You just have to set your battleship in a spot where you can shoot at the enemies, and then if you can, as soon as your guns are reloaded, then you shoot at the enemy. That's it. No one expects any more than that. And that's fairly simple. That's not hard. That's not difficult. But apparently it is. So I learned early on in this game here that if you want to succeed, you need to treat battleships like princesses. Like little 8-year-old princesses in pink dresses. And you have to do everything for them. You have to serve up the enemies for them, like this Yami here. And you have to do all the hard work. And then in the end, you know, they can waltz in and you have, you know, you lay up the football, you put it on a pedestal, 1 foot ahead of the goal, and then the battleship kicks it the last foot into the goal. That's what you have to do. Otherwise, battleships are just a liability. They really are. It's also very interesting when it happens, you know, God forbid that we have battles without battleships. But it does happen very, very rarely. You get a battle with maybe only 1 battleship, or, you know, maybe even no battleship. It does happen. And when that happens, you will see the gameplay evolve into a very, very different sort of battle, and we're just gonna show our our anger here, really. Like I said, the gameplay is going to be very, very different, much more interesting, much more fun, and I don't know why. I think it's just because that you don't have the battleship potatoes to weigh down everything, and in general, cruiser players at tier +7 and destroyer players at tier +7, they are, in general, on average, much better players than the average battleship player at the same level. So I'm guessing that's why. That wasn't always the case. It used to be cruiser players who are the worst players. And when the game first came out, destroyer players tended to be the worst out there. That has changed. That has completely changed, actually. And these days, battleship players are still at the same level they were 5 years ago, 4 years ago, whatever. And it's just painful. So this battle here is a very good example, at least I think so, of how battleships can come out of a battle with like the fake notion that they actually contributed. Because we actually have a few battleships that, you know, hit nearly 2000 XP in this battle here. And I honestly don't know how that happened. That's very strange, because I felt like there was no battleships at all in this battle here. And that's the problem. You know, end up in a game like this, end up with a kill and like somewhere in the middle of the leaderboard, and you know, you're gonna be thinking, oh yeah, I did awesome. But no, you didn't. You're just lucky. Torpedoes to port. So how do we fix this? And I don't know. It's I I'd say it's impossible. There's only really one way of doing it, and that is, you know, excluding certain players, like from top tier battles, unless they have you know, a special amount of XP. Like win rate is not going to do it here. It has to be like XP, your personal contribution. So that's probably not going to be popular. I don't know. I don't really care. That's not my thing to say if people will enjoy that or not. But I know I will enjoy it, and I'm pretty sure most of the player base out there would enjoy it if this was a thing. But probably not going to be that. And as you can see, yeah, the Minnow and the Shima won the battle, and everyone else was just riding the curtails. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. See you out there.